Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu, OpenAPI and Swagger Ecosystem, episode 14 of 19. Creating a user is step one, but how does an automated client intuitively know where to go to fetch that user profile next? You could hard code the workflow into your client code, but that breaks the moment your API structure changes. The solution to this is state transitions with links. In OpenAPI, the link object sits inside a response and maps data from that response to parameters of another operation. To be perfectly clear, links do not execute requests automatically. They do not turn OpenAPI into an active orchestration engine. They simply provide static instructions to your tooling, SDKs, or documentation on how to construct the next logical request in a workflow. If you've built APIs before, you might think this sounds exactly like strict HATEOAS, where the server sends dynamic hypermedia links inside the response payload. OpenAPI links offer a developer-friendly alternative to that approach. Instead of forcing the backend to inject dynamic URIs into every single response at runtime, OpenAPI links describe the workflow state transitions statically within the API definition itself. Client tools can understand the workflow without needing to parse live payloads to discover what actions are possible. The logic flows by connecting a source response to a target operation. Consider a standard POST request used to create a new user. The response returns a JSON body containing a newly generated user ID. Inside that specific response definition, you add a links map. Each entry in this map defines a relationship to another operation, like the GET request that retrieves the user profile. You identify the target operation using one of two mutually exclusive fields. The first is operation ID, which is a simple string matching the target operation unique identifier. The second is operation reference, which uses a standard JSON pointer to navigate the OpenAPI document and locate the target path and HTTP method. Operation ID is generally cleaner if your API defines them consistently, while operation reference is useful for pointing to operations in external OpenAPI documents. Once you point to the target operation, you must feed it the correct data. You do this using a parameters map. The keys in this map represent the parameter names the target operation expects, such as the user ID path parameter. The values are runtime expressions telling the tooling where to extract that data from the current context. A runtime expression is a specific syntax that evaluates data during the API call. You can write an expression that instructs the client to look at the response body, locate the ID field, and extract its value. You are not limited to the response body. Runtime expressions can extract values from the response headers, the original request path, or the original request query parameters. If the target operation requires a request body instead of just parameters, the link object provides a request body field. This allows you to map a runtime expression directly into the payload of the subsequent request. When an SDK generator processes these links, it can automatically create chained method calls, allowing a developer to create a user and immediately call a generated method to fetch the profile on the returned object. Here's the key insight. The true power of the link object is that it bridges the gap between isolated endpoints, turning a flat dictionary of API paths into a navigable map of actions your clients can confidently follow without relying on hard-coded URLs. Appreciate you listening. Catch you next time.